Good morning, Mr. Thomas. Good to see you again, my friend, as we get together for Foreign Fridays. The last time we got together, we had a big home run there. Hopefully we can do the same at Ascot in England, not to be confused with the Ascot in Australia, as we get ourselves a little bit of a sneak look at the track before we get ready for the Royal Ascot, which is coming up pretty soon, right?
Yeah, next month, June.
Next month in June.
Yeah.
Hard to believe.
And actually some of the races that they've been running today and tomorrow are going to be, some of these horses may pop up in some of the handicap level races, or those races that of course have 26 horses, very easy.
Our favorites. Yeah. Well, we had one like that. I think, was it the third race with like 20?
Yeah, we do have
24 horses.
The Victoria Cup. We do have a big field in that one.
Yes, the last time we had a big field and we said it was a coin flip, that's the one where we had the $600 exacta. So let's see if we can turn another coin flip into a $600 exacta.
We always take those.
Yeah, well, who doesn't take those? Those are the ones you kind of live for, right, Thomas? Well, right now, the track is listed as soft, but today and tomorrow.
And I'm going to go. I've been watching it. It's very soft.
You don't think, though, with the sunshine today and tomorrow, it could dry out a little bit? Maybe move.
The commentators didn't indicate there was. If anything, it was getting a little more mushy as they ran races over it. Here, they've been running basically down the center of the track for the starting gate on the straight course. So I would say, I think there's some. We have to as we do the show, we'll have to look at where they're going to set the gate. Okay, I think there's a couple on the inside. So the running will be different, definitely different, and it may be the horses that are in the one through 3 or 4 may have a little more trouble because of that. How the track is playing. Today, it was a pretty fair track. We saw some 3 favorites win, and then they were covering Chester at the same time. So I had a nice one there. I had a $45 horse, $1 $90 horse.
$90 horse. Well, that's why we have you on here, Tom. You're long shot, Tom. You're 22-1 Tom for a reason, but now you're just Tom. And you used to put your big winners as a prefix to your name, so you got to get back to doing that. So the first race we're going to do is race number 1. That is the Peroni Nastro Azzurro Handicap. I thought they're running in England, not in Italy. Anyway, this one's going to be 1 mile and 4 furlongs. So in English, that's a mile and a half. I guess that's in English too, huh? But in our world, that's a mile and a half. Taking a look at their track, 1 mile and 4 furlongs. Looks like they're going to start here, Thomas, on the left. Well, let me pop that out of the way. It's in the way. Go up the hill, or it looks like they're going to go down the hill, level out, steady rise, then come back around, go up the hill, and then downhill. Is that this particular race, any particular running style that favors or is favored to win?
Well, we'll see those middle horses closing. The distance ones, the ones in the back, I think in this kind of race, because this is a class 3, we'll see too many of them that are too far back to be able to come on.
And this is classic handicapping race where the horses, they have a weight allotted to them based upon so like people watch, the stewards watch, and then they see who's training the best, Tom, and then they assign the weights. How does that work?
Well, it's the handicapper actually gives them the ratings. So if you see a horse in this field that has a 95 rating, well, that's obviously the top rating of any of these horses. And then it's based on past performance. And then, of course, if you've been winning, you get more weight. So, so there's a weight penalty for winning. And in this field, we've got a real mixed group, to say the least.
And it's going to start at about 8:30 a.m. Eastern. So set your clocks to that. And once the race gets going, Tom, you're going to tell us how they're going to finish now.
I'm going to go with number 5. Saratoga Gold is my top choice. This guy has draw 2. Hasn't raced since October, but the trainer, Charlie Hills, I should say, is really doing well. And he had 2 winners today, and they were also coming off one was coming off a bit of layoff, the other one wasn't. And, this horse, after a break, has won in a Class 4 at Goodwood, going the same distance. He's raced at Ascot with no success, but I think he's coming in fresh, and I'm going to take a chance on him. And we got a hot trainer. I mean, he's been running at about 23 or 24% winners from his starters. So in the last 14 days, so that's pretty good.
Yeah, we'll take that.
Yeah, number 8, Savvy Knight is going to be my next choice. Has draw 10. Was used an all-weather race as a prep for this one at Kempton and ran 4th, and it was an okay race. He's won first 3 races of his career and then did nothing. Ran at Royal Ascot in a Class 2 type and ran 4th, and that was also a 12 furlong race. I think the last race to me shows there's maybe some form there. I don't know if he can win, but I can't really ignore him off that last race. And he does like this distance, so we'll see. Finally, I'm going to really stretch this a bit and take number 6, Green Team, with draw 8 as my final choice. This one's coming in from Dubai. The last race in a Group 2 race there, and it lost by 14 lengths. Well, yeah, that's forgettable. The other races that are in Dubai were not great either. There's a maiden winner only at Ayr. I just don't know. I think maybe there's some form here. Going to be some form here that's going to jump up on it, and this is definitely going to be a price.
Yeah, and you're going to get a tip here too. So at least somebody else is in alignment with your thoughts that there could be a surprise there, Tom. Well, we're both going to start out in the same place, Saratoga Gold. Maybe because we went to Saratoga together. I'm not sure. But this one does absolutely love to run a mile and a half. Has done so 7 times. Won 4 of those, a third in another. And then if you put it at any other distance, 16 times, only 3 wins and a third. So clearly a mile and a half is the right distance for Saratoga Gold. To its inside, Nathaniel Green, the 4-horse, finished second by just 3/4 of a length when it ran this distance. The only time it ran this distance. Seems to me that for this horse, they've tried to run it at longer distances unsuccessfully. I think a mile and a half and shorter seems right for Nathaniel Green. Number 2, Rhythmic Intent is my third choice in here, Thomas. This one I think should be better, according to its resume anyway, in its second start after a layoff. I do think if the weather does continue to stay warm and sunny like the forecast and the track upgrades a little bit, could be one that benefits. And then finally, number 1, Sir Rumi, the 1-horse. I think this one is carrying the top weight, Tom. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, I think it is.
But obviously the handicapper thinks this is the top horse in the field. If you look through and dig into its past performances, more often than not, it runs a high-quality race. I won't forget, Thomas, about the predictor. Here we go. Let's see what.
Well, it's very important in these kind of races.
Oh, yes. Well, it's important for us. I would almost rather win the predictor than the actual race. It's a little more fun. All right, let's see. Oh, well, that one's going to win pretty easy. And that one is Surumi, the 1-horse there, the favorite, or one of the favorites at 92, the heavyweight. And then Savvy Knight, that one's right up in there too. Nathaniel Green, Saratoga Gold, Raven's Arc, Rhythmic Intent. A lot of the names you heard us say, Tom, looks like they have a shot in this race. So let's hope that that's the case. And they go from the highest price to the lowest price. Next up for us, as we skip out of the predictor, is going to be race number 2, which is the Peroni and Nastro Azzurro EBF Fillies handicap. In this case, they're going to run just a straight mile, Thomas. I think they actually do run straight, don't they? They start back here.
They certainly do at Ascot. That's and then they just race they run. That's in the straight, on the straight.
And then they just charge down you can see here, they just charge down the straightaway. And you had mentioned today that they were splitting up on the track. Where did it look like they wanted to be today?
In the center. They were mainly running in the center, and the winner was coming from the center.
So
the ones that were a little fanned out didn't do anything. One filly that I liked absolutely ran towards the inside and just did absolutely nothing.
Just too heavy in there. All right, so look for the horses. Maybe they have a.
Was not a thing. We also need to check where the gate's going to be set for this race.
Okay, I don't think
it should be up in the upper right corner.
Says going stall center. There you go. So it's going to be in the
Okay.
middle. So still in the middle, I would imagine you still want horses to have a middle post if the middle is better going than the edges. All right, Tom. So who do you think's got this one?
I'm going to start with number 1, Julia Augusta, who got draw number 4. Won her first 2 starts at a mile. One was on the all-weather, one was on the turf, and then ran in a Class 2 handicap and ran 3rd. He was put away, brought back. It looks pretty good overall. She was the favorite in her last race, and she just missed by a length and a half. I think Roger Varian's picked a nice spot for her return, and I really think she's going to be the one to beat here. Number 2 is going to be my next choice, and that's Don't Tell Claire. Let's draw number 3.
You don't want to do that.
No.
Claire's got a little bit of an attitude.
Oh, my God, yes. I know some Claires that definitely have that.
Yes, indeed.
Started out racing at Kempton this year and on the all-weather, and was a big price, and I would call it an average effort. She's won on the all-weather, but she's better on the turf. She's won 4 times on the turf. And all those races are at 1 mile. She's also won at Ascot on the straight course. But that's only, yeah, all right. I think fair price on her is 12 to 1 or greater. And that's what I'm hoping for.
No, looks like 18 to 1 right now. So you're a little bit better than fair value in your view.
Finally, I'm going to go to number 10, Mountain Song. Has draw 5 as my final choice. One last start on the all-weather, going a mile. And then run in my voice. Second and three other races, and those were also on the all-weather. Try to, this is the shortest distance to date this horse has run, and this one may be a very good, decent handicap type miler, and there's certainly plenty of opportunities for this horse to run at that. The switch, based on the breeding, the switch to the turf shouldn't matter. The mare has 4 offspring, and other than her, and they've all won on the turf, and they've all won a mile or greater. So based on that, I think it's got a very good chance of showing up here.
Yeah, and it looks like the handicapper there, the morning line maker, thinks it's got a good shot too. I don't have that one. The one I have to get started with is Timeless Melody. It's the 8 horse here. This one was off for more than a year, came back, ran for the first time ever on turf, and managed to win with ease. So let's see if it can improve on that first time effort and second start off a layoff. I agree with you. The next horse for me is the Julia Augusta, that 1 horse riding out of the 4 post. Won its debut. So it tells you the horse does well when it comes off a little bit of rest. And then it had another first up effort. Only other first up effort, and it won that one too. So it looks to me like Julia Augusta is one that likes to run when it has a little bit of time in the barn, like today. Number 3, Belhaven. It's my 3rd choice in here. Belhaven's been at the distance 4 times on turf, all of them. Won 3 of them. The lone exception was the debut, and maybe something went wrong in the debut because the horse went to the sidelines afterwards. It came back a little bit different horse. And then finally, number 4, Perfect Thunder, 25 to 1. Tom, your kind of horse in here. This one is a neck away, a little bit of a shot in here from winning its last 2 first runs after a layoff. And then kind of after that, the horse trails off. So it seems to me that this one comes off the bench and out of the barn. It's in its best form. So if it's going to have a shot, Saturday is going to be the day for that shot. And that race will go off at approximately 9:05 a.m. Eastern. And the predictor says, Thomas, who do you think is going to win if you had the predictor? Which one do you think? Do you think it's going to be Julia Augusta because we both agreed on that one?
I think that she's going to be very tough in here.
All right, let's see what it says. Pow. It's going to be bang. Timeless Melody. The 8 horse looks like the winner. Sly Madam. We don't have neither one of us had that one. We'll see. Sly Madam, you better scratch. It's 25-1 too. So maybe you might want to think about throwing that one in your picks in the back end. 25-1 on Sly Madam, and the computer predictor says that's the one that could give Timeless Melody a difficult time at the wire. Off to race number 3 we go, Mr. Thomas. Race number 3 is the, hold on a second. One more button over here. Too many buttons. This one is the Peroni. So Peroni is they're sponsoring everything today. Peroni Nastro, Azzurro, Victoria Cup. In this case, they're going to run that quirky 7 furlongs we saw on the track. If they ran 1 mile straight, well, they certainly aren't going to put any turns into 7 furlongs. And again, I would guess the center of the track is important. And
they have to run this one because of the size of the field in the center.
Mm-hmm. So there you go, the center. Yeah, this is the one where they have 4,000 horses in it.
Yeah, it seems that way.
Yeah, like 20. I think let's see how many other there's. 23 horses, Thomas. And this one I felt like I could pick off. Look, let's see what's the lowest odds in here. 7-1 so far.
Yeah, it's definitely going to pay something.
7-1, yes, indeed. That's the lowest priced horse in here. So when I was going through this, I think I wrote down 23 horses as potential winners. How about you?
Not quite that bad. I got down to 8, and before I made my final selection.
And that
was with that, I went with number 5, Fresh, who has draw 11. First start of the season was on the all weather, and it ran okay. It was raced to the back of the field, and then it was asked to go, and it was just not getting to the leaders in that race, which tells me it needed a race. And this horse is an Ascot kind of specialist a little bit. Got 10 starts at Ascot, got 3 wins, 2 seconds, and 1 third. He's won 2 races at this distance from 6 tries. And I think this is a nice spot for him to hit the board and pay a little something.
Yeah, he's got 2 tips too, so you're not alone in your thinking. Soon to be 4 tips, by the way.
Number 1, Spycatcher, is going to be my next choice. It has draw 6. First start of the season was at Thirsk on the soft going at 7 furlongs and did okay. He's raced in group races before, and he finished in last May behind Highfield Princess, who was one of the top sprinters in England last year. And I think that winning race last time was a confidence builder. It was at a little lower level, and they're going to put it right in here. And it's going to be a tough horse to leave off your ticket. And finally, I'm going to take number 7, Totally Charming, as my final choice. And that will be draw 13.
Tom. I appreciate the compliment.
And ran a really average race last time out at Thakura. It was a mile. It was a handicap type race. First start of the season. Went off the favorite, which I thought was really interesting. And the price was 5-1. So that must have been an interesting field.
Kind of like this one.
Yeah, exactly. Won last year on its last start at Doncaster, going 7 furlongs. That was in a Class 3 handicap. We got 1 run at the Royal Ascot, and it was in a field of 29, and it finished 9th. That was in a Class 2 going a mile. So, the distance may not be 100%. Correct, but I'm going to take a chance with this one. This one has a great record on the all-weather. The turf I think they're still trying to figure out how to get this one going. But in this kind of race, and it's got some form, being last time out, I'm going to give it a chance.
I think it's the tip king in here too at 4 tips. So again, Tom, in line with the professional punters over in the UK. I am going to start off in this race with number 11, Rainbow Fire, 16-1. Thomas, I like that. That's how you start a ticket right there, my friend, in a 23 field horse field. This one won 3 out of 4 at the distance, and all of them were on turf. Again, the lone miss being on the debut. So you're going to find that I think the horse does better in here. Number 5, which is Fresh, the same one you like in here, Thomas. Good success at Ascot, as you mentioned, 10 races, 3 wins, 2 seconds, and a third, or 3 wins and 3 placings, as I guess they call it over there. You put the horse at any other distance 12 times, 1 win, 3 seconds, and a third. So clearly, this horse likes to run the quirky 7 furlongs. Biggles, the 9 horse, another one that has an affinity for running 7 furlongs. Biggles has done it 5 times, 2 wins, 2 seconds, and a third. So yet to finish out of the money. On the turf in its races 7 times, in the money 6 of those, including 3 wins. And one of those horses that's a candidate to be better in the second start out of the barn. And then finally, number 18, Rebel Territory, 14-1 shot over here, Thomas. This one is coming off the sidelines to win last time out. And if you look through the resume, the CV, it does show that the horse does have a tendency to improve in the second start off a layoff. And it gets 2 tips, Tom, so you can make it 3 now. I'm really curious to see what the predictor says is going to happen in this spot, Tom. You think we'll have a bunch of them in here or not?
Well,
they can't fit 23 horses across the screen here.
And, it'll be noses apart.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, they can't fit 23 horses across the screen here, right? So
it's a challenge.
I wonder if this predicts how they're going to be. I don't just notice this. Let's see if it goes 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I don't know. Let's see how this works. Look at that. Boom. It is Safe Voyage is your winner at 14-1. But man, it looks like that's going to be a photo finish. Did either one of us? I didn't pick Safe Voyage. You didn't either, right?
No, I don't like that horse at all.
Spy Catcher, you got that one. That one's right in there. Mm-hmm. Rebel Territory, that 18 horse, I got that one. And Admiral D. Did either one of us take Admiral D?
Nope.
I know we didn't take Accidental Agent or Va Fortino. Apparently, the rest of them don't.
Accidental Agent is a Group 1 winner, but he is that was at Royal Ascot, but it was a number of years ago, and he's just never really returned to that kind of form.
Yeah, and you notice the other ones are so bad they don't even make the screen, Tom.
Yeah.
All right, so now we're going to skip
an interesting race, and if anybody out there can figure that out, it's definitely going to be a nice payday.
Oh, heck yeah. You're going to get that one's going to, 7-1, like we said, right off the jump is going to be right now it is the favorite at 7-1. So you're just picking the winner. I mean, that's almost that I know it's probably more popular in Europe and then Australia than here in the United States, but that's an excellent candidate for Dutch win betting right there because you're going to get long odds. If you like 2 or 3 of them, just stick it in a Dutch calculator and figure out if one of them wins, how you turn a profit. Race number 5 is where we're headed to next. This one is 1 mile and 2 furlongs, so 1 mile and 1/8 over here.
Real quick, let's mention number 4. It's a 2-year-old race.
All right.
We obviously have absolutely no information.
I think they're all
but it
beginners
is an important race to take a look at because one of those could show up at Royal Ascot. And good performance over this track. You never know.
Well, it looks like they think Ocean Runner is a baby that's pretty good here for Charles Appleby and Jockey Harry Davies. He's under 1-1 odds and 8 tips on that guy. So it's pretty unanimous from the punters.
Yeah, but keep in mind that one, you may want to watch it, see how it does, and see if it's going to end up in one of those 2-year-old races at Royal Ascot.
Yeah, I have a hard time personally, to be honest with you, with that because 5 to 6 on a 2-year-old, you just don't know what you're going to get, right? So in race number 5, it is the Carey group. So apparently,
yes, where we started.
So the sponsors have changed. So they're going to run 1 mile and 2 furlongs. They're going to start here, and then they're going to go up and then back down. So 1.25 miles is what it is here. I said 1 1/8 miles. I was wrong about that. 1.25 miles here. They come up. They're going to down the hill level, up the hill some more, and then downhill to the flag, Thomas. I would say with that turn right there, positioning probably will be early key. So maybe some tactical speed out of the gates could be important.
Yeah, it was hard to figure who's going to sit on the front because these are kind of really similar type horses, and there's no real horse that jumps out at you. I
agree wholeheartedly with that. And if I remember correctly, not a lot of winners in here, like multiple, like no, 1 or 2.
They're not. This is a Class 3 race. and this bunch is, they've not had the best of records. But with that, I took number 3, Masa Mara, who has draw 7. We've got okay efforts overall. We've got a win at 11 furlongs and a distant second at 12 furlongs. He's won twice on the turf. First start, and then a fourth, 7 furlongs. They've been moving this around. In 1 mile, it ran second. I mean, it's all kinds of different distances. I think the horse wants distance based on its performance at some of the longer ones, and I think the 1.25 miles may be right up his alley. Number 4, Westerton is going to be my next choice, and that's got draw 2. This one is still a maiden, but it's finished second in his last 2 races, and those are at 8.5. One was at 8.5 furlongs, and the other one was 10 furlongs. They're good efforts. He's never had a bad effort. I mean, he's finished 4th, 5th. I mean, they're all good. Some of them was against maidens. Some of them were a little better horses. I think based on this field, I don't know why a maiden couldn't win it.
Well, a lot of people think he's going to win.
I think the more distance helps. This is one I think needs the distance.
Yeah.
And finally, I'm going to take Mealy Chanel as my final choice. It has draw 4. First one was in a novice at 7 furlongs at Chester. It's tried listed company. Next out, ran 6th at 7, and then returns to the races, ran 4th of 5 on the all weather. Well, it obviously doesn't like the all weather that much, and this is one of those. Okay, what do you think this can do? Because it's going to increase in distance. So we have to go look at the breeding, and the mare's offsprings have mainly won on the turf and at distances. Yeah, about 1 mile plus, going to 1.5 miles. And I'm like, yeah, maybe it just took them a little while to figure out they should probably try this horse in a longer race. And that's what I think it's going to do. And I think it's going to perform pretty well. And so I had to put it in.
And then for me, Mr. Thomas, in this first race, and the second to last race we're going to do, and this one's going to kick off at 10:45 a.m. Eastern. I'm going to start with number 1, Shabazz. I have just Shabazz. I took the Z off on my notes here. Anyway, Shabazz is the most experienced horse in this field. Probably going to be better in the second start off a layoff. This horse has run 7 times. Depending on how you measure high quality races, 4 to 5 of them have been what I would call high quality. So, but the most consistent performer in the field. Doesn't get as many tips though as the 4 horse there does though. Only 2 to 10. I'm going to go with the same horse that you started off with, the 3 horse, Messiah Mara. That horse has been well backed in every single race by its punter. So clearly the folks think there's something there, and it's making its 3rd start off a layoff. No excuses for one of the favorites in there. Number 6, Dasho Lenny, 11-2 is my 3rd choice. All 3 races this one is put on the track have been really good. The 1 win was on the all-weather track, so we're not quite sure what it's going to do in terms of the turf, but let's see if indeed it can carry its form over. And then finally, the 5 horse Mealy Chanel, which is my 4th choice, has a turf win. Okay race in its last time out. I do expect that maybe there'll be additional fitness today, Tom, and I think that's probably the way you were looking at that one too. Our predictor.
Well, I was looking at they're moving it up in distance. And initially, I'm scratching my head. I'm going, okay, this has been running in shorter races. Why are they doing this? And that's why I had to go to the breeding, because there had to be a reason. And sure enough, the offspring of all won at 1 mile plus. So, yeah, probably want some distance.
Indeed, and we'll need fitness to get that done. Westerton, you're picking there first. Dasho Lenny, that's 6 horse, coming in second with Shabazz third. And then everybody else kind of off the pace a little bit there. King's Code, Chili High, we don't have that one. But we do look like we are at least a part of the front. According to the simulator, though, here, the predictor, it looks like it's a 2-horse race for the most part between Westerton and Dasho Lenny. I always forget to go back and double check because you can't go back and look at the predictor after the race is over, unfortunately. I don't think you can anyway. I've tried it.
No, it's still up there.
Is it? I've tried it in the
And
past.
then it gets
Maybe I
one
just
shot.
had a bad day or something. I don't know. All
Yeah.
right. So the last race we're going to do is race number 7. We're going to skip race number 6. Is that another one of those baby races, Tom, in there?
No, it's
I
just
don't think so.
I thought 7 was a better race.
All right. So we're going to go with the better race, number 7, according to Tom. And we got to trust his judgment. Tom knows what he's doing over there. This one is
Well, it's a
6 furlongs.
straight 6. Why not? You know,
Yeah.
do the straight 6. We did a 7. We did a mile. May as well throw a 6 in there.
I think it makes good sense. 6, 8, 10. We might as well do all the odd number. Well, no, 7's not even. Anyway, straight down the middle is the way you want to go. Yeah, my numbers are a little off today. Straight down the middle is where they want to go. They're going to put it in the center. The going is still listed as soft, Tom. In these races, does speed really matter, or do they still come off the pace a little bit at 6 furlongs on the grass over there at Ascot?
They're going to pick it up a little late for these older horses. If we were talking, because these are 4-year-olds and older, and but if it was a 2-year-old race, I'd say front runner very well could go gate to wire.
Yeah, this one's scheduled to go off at 11:55 a.m. Eastern, so by noon you'll know if they went gate to wire. Tom, who do you think is going to win?
I like Cocoa Bear, number 8. It's my top choice with a draw 7. One, it's 2 races, both at 6 furlongs, both at this level of class 4. It's mainly been racing in the lower levels in its past, but it seems to started to get a little better. I know, because it's been in class 6 and class 5 races too. I think versus this field, it's got a great chance to get number 3. But it does get a weight penalty because guess what it's doing? It's winning. So we'll see. Number 1, Indian Creek is going to be my next choice. That has draw 10. Has 3 races this year and has a win and a 1/3 and 1/6. And that was its first start. So obviously needed a race. Last race was at Thirsk, and that was in a class 3. So we're dropping a little, but not much. It's been good at this distance with 4 wins from 33 starts and 11 in the money finishes. Based on its last 2, and it's been running on the soft to heavy going, I think it should like this level and this track. Finally, I'm going to take number 2, Mr. Bluebird is my final choice. Has draw 2. Ran second in his first start this season, and there were some issues in this running of this race for this horse. He's run seconds a bunch of times at 7 furlongs, so maybe 6 is more his area win because he's won at Ascot before at this distance. But overall, his record at this distance is not great. But that win at Ascot kind of made me say, against this field, I think he could hit the board.
Yeah, I think he's going to hit the board first, Thomas. I have him as my top pick. Where you lift off, I start off, Mr. Bluebird here. So you did point out that the one time the horse ran at 6 furlongs at Ascot, did collect the W in that race. But just looking at the past performances, it seems to me that its first race off the bench is an indication of its form for that cycle of races. When he comes off the bench and runs well, then for the next 3 or 4 races, he runs well. If he runs poorly in the first start, the next 3 or 4 races are poor too. As you mentioned, he had a good race last time out, so I think we're going to get the good version of Mr. Bluebird on Saturday. Cocoa Bear, your top choice, made it into my second spot. The 8 horse, 7-2 right now. Got one tip on Cocoa Bear. This is actually my favorite kind of horse to bet on, although you're not going to see that reflected in the odds today. It's because it's an all or nothing horse. 8 times at the distance, won 4 of them, ran off the board in the other 4. Normally, horses that either win or go bust get a little bit higher odds than 7-2, but I'll still take 7-2 in this case if it's the winning version. Number 4, Cooperation is my third choice at 4-1 in here. Cooperation at the distance, 12 times out, 3 wins, 3 seconds, third up, and is coming off of his best race in quite a while. So maybe the horse has found its form. Then finally, this is the 2-word definition of all of my handicapping: spirited guess. So looking at its form, the 2023 so far anyway, major form reversal from what we saw in 2022. The caveat to that is the 2 good races so far this year have been on the all-weather. You can carry it over to the grass. 10-1 might be a gift. We'll see if that indeed how it plays out. That wraps up all of our picks for Ascot. I know all week long I had mistakenly saying we were going to do Newbury, but Thomas pointed out Newbury's not even running, so we can't get anything wrong at Newbury today, Tom.
We didn't.
No, we didn't. We were perfect. Next week, we're going to be off. Obviously, it's the Preakness next week. And then we'll have all that coverage for you over at Horse Racing Radar TV, like always, to make sure you don't miss anything. You see the
don't miss it. But if you are interested in the European, we got the Dante meeting at York, which always presents some interesting opportunities.
That's next week?
Yeah. 15th through the 17th.
And then you'll return the following week after the Preakness. We'll get back together for Foreign Fridays. Any inclination where you want to head for that one?
Any hints of where we're going to be going? Well, clues? It's really easy. Really easy where we're going to be going, because it's the Epsom Derby and the Epsom Oaks. And we just watched a Save the Last Dance, a horse by a horse. She's by a mare that we saw run in this country, Daddy's Little Girl, and it was a darn good grass horse. And she produced this horse and Save the Last Dance at Chester, won by 22 lengths in a prep for the Oaks.
That's close.
Yeah, that's pretty good. And probably surprised a few people. So yeah, I think she'll be definitely one of the favorites in the race. But yeah, beginning of June, we get the Epsom races, and they're always worth some entertainment value, and we'll see what happens.
And then shortly after, the Royal Ascot. So we have a lot on the
table. Starts on the 20th. Yeah. That's 20th through the 24th. I don't know. Are we going to do day-to-day coverage, or we
did last time? Yeah, we're going to go day-to-day, Thomas. We're going to do like we did last time. We a little bit each day, right?
You want to do it live, or you want to do it a day?
What time do the races start, brother?
About 8 in the morning.
They start. Well, we can maybe do it live at 8 in the morning, but we also have those other shows too, so we can do it maybe 8 in the morning.
I know, that's why I don't know if you want to do it.
Well, let's just
put it this way: it's a lot better than those other racing's. A lot better than it is in those other shows.
Than Parks, tracks. Yes. Yeah. Well, that would be for sure. But we have fun there. We'll see what
Wesley Ward does with some of his 2-year-olds, because he's got some ones that look pretty good.
Well, we have time to figure that out. We will be back. Speaking of Parks, Terry and I on Monday and Tuesday at Parks. I'm not quite sure what we're going to do on Wednesday, because Terry's in all week because Charles is off traveling to California. But we'll definitely figure out what we're going to do Wednesday and Thursday. I'll leave that up. I know Thursday we'll do Belmont. What we do Wednesday is up in the air. I don't know if Charles and Terry are going to do a show tomorrow. We'll find out if that's the case a little bit later on. Follow us on our social sites. Sean will keep you up to speed with that. Always, make sure you head over to Guaranteed Tip Sheet for your U.S. picks. There's a free track every single day. You can also go to the Picks with the Professor if you like baseball. Full season right now. I know Tom's Brewers are playing tonight, but he's not going to go see the Brewers, although I think the Brewers are a winner tonight, Thomas, even without you there. That wraps it up for tonight. Any final thoughts, Tom, before we get up and get out of here today?
As I always say, good luck, especially in that small field of 23. If you can hit that, you know you're handicapping.
Well, I mean, the last time we had one of those, we came out of that one okay. If they had taken your picks and my picks and boxed them together, they would have had a $5,500 trifecta for 50 cents. So let's hope there's something like that on the card today. No matter what, we certainly hope that God's grace shines on you and that every single thing you do today, tomorrow, Sunday, till we get back together on Monday, ends up in the
winner's circle.
Absolutely. Have a fantastic weekend.